I'm going to get into this, and for the sake of this video, I'm going to use this voice. Regular viewers of the Omen of Rust series have come to know this voice as Oyun. So, no more Omen of Rust episodes for a while was the news in my channel post, and as you've seen in the title of this video, that hasn't changed. What exactly happened? Without getting too much into it, I will just say this. I try not to be too deluded about what I can and cannot do. I try, but don't always succeed. It's the folly of humanity in general, as it's not that uncommon. However, harsh language I use on myself, when it comes to what I make aside, allow me to temporarily delude myself about one thing. I did not expect this many of you to both show up and stick around for so long on an episode-to-episode basis. My expectation was that I would probably, best case scenario, have double-digit subscribers with number of views per video, that I'd be lucky if the odd one got double-digit views at most. On that front, the series has performed better than my realistic expectations, and that has motivated me to always try to improve upon it wherever I could. Now, I won't go into details about the creation process in this video, and honestly, I won't talk about that process, unless enough of you would want me to make a video about that. So let me know if that is the case. But now it's time for me to have the moment of
wake up to reality.
And that's with this. I'm no YouTube guru, and I will not claim to have the knowledge one would advertise he has, but even a below-average Joe like me can read that and realize that's a dying channel. Simply put, the series is performing better than expected, which did motivate me to continue at the rate I was going at, and to also make improvements in the creative process, which in turn ends up making it take longer. But it's also not doing what I would have then hoped to see to justify to keep going at the rate that I was, and those numbers don't lie. So seeing that, I have to come to the only conclusion that makes sense considering a few things. I quit. What exactly am I quitting? The series? Hopefully not. That is something I hope would only happen if something were to happen to me. I can always hope, but the chance of that is never 0%. I have to always remind myself of that. No, what I'm quitting specifically is doing this, for lack of a better term, side gig, as a part/full-time job. It's not sustainable and it doesn't bring in the numbers. This isn't going to be a video where I'll make the usual YouTubers slight against the algorithm. Although don't get me wrong, in some places, like for example where my videos get recommended in, it certainly does not help in finding an audience that would be interested in this type of content in the slightest. The
wake up to reality
part of it is. This type of content is not and will never be popular or a good idea to do for Kenshi. There are types of videos that, whether designed by algorithm or designed by the audience for this game, that have a chance to work much better for getting more respectable views. And I will actually list them now in case anyone is curious what those are for this game. The ones that tend to work well are meme videos that usually involve a thumbnail showing a character heavily caricaturized to the point where it looks like it's trying really desperately hard to be a meme. Of course I'm saying that, but those can work a lot better than what I'm doing, so fair play. Lore videos that go in depth into details. Some of these depend on the channel doing it, but they tend to be fairly looked up, and the channels that do them are already established, so there's little chance of breaching anything there. Sometimes, but not always, gameplay tips. And the two that I've always seen work a lot, that as an overall to me personally I really don't like that much anymore, are the following. From low point to ridiculously high point type of video. And something really outrageous happened being put in the title, followed by outrageous punishment of the holy nation. All of those have much higher chances to get better views, or be more likely to be noticed on YouTube. Don't get me wrong, while the series I made operates based on me making something I want to see and sharing it with the rest of you, the once again,
wake up to reality
part of this is, that's not a lot of us. And it doesn't overall work, especially according to those numbers. Or at least not for me. This also isn't me saying that my format is good and the others, particularly the ones I stated I'm personally not fond of seeing anymore, are bad. I have seen attempts at Kenshi videos that more or less were making something like what I'm trying to make that were simply not for me. And I have seen meme format or from low to high format videos or destroy the Holy Nation videos that I've really enjoyed. To me personally, it's just oversaturation, but that's not the case with the audience in general. And of course, this isn't me also saying the audience is wrong, it just is what it is. Reality. So what comes next? Well, simply put, I will continue working on the series whenever I can, but again, no longer on that pace that I had before. That last episode, I put everything in it. And I do mean everything. It ended up being as long as it was, even though I could have easily split that into 5 to 6 episodes already being ready to go for the next season. However, there's two reasons I did put everything in that particular episode. Reason 1. Season 7 will be the last season of the Omen of Rust. Reason 2. If something should happen, that would prevent me from ever making another episode in this series ever again. I did, after a certain point, start telling myself I would end this series in a movie. I suppose this is feature length, but that was really me pushing both myself and what resources I had to their absolute limits. Sadly, this did incur certain costs that have now started to pile up over time, and while I'm more or less fine after incurring a separate cost, that just had to happen. I have one of my savings in a place where I don't really want it to get. So what I will try to do now is really downscale everything I've been spending money on, while working on what I can for the series, such as recording the normal gameplay footage and doing the writing while trying to build those savings back to a place where I am more comfortable looking at them without dread. That also being said, because I absolutely loathe hiatuses in the middle of a series or season, because of those things above, I have also made the decision to not release a single episode of Season 7 until every single last one of the 12 will be done and ready to go. Sadly, I cannot in any way give you an ETA on how long any of this will take. My estimate is 7 months. Could be even longer. Like I said, it really is the
Wake up to reality.
moment. As for the type of videos that I said do well, I don't want to start making those types in some vain hope to capture an audience that wouldn't be interested in what I want to make anyway, and I, above everything else, do not want to downscale, because no one likes it when that happens. It's enough that I don't like it, so I'm not doing that. I'd rather bury the whole thing before I even consider doing that. All that being said, it's been a surprisingly good crack in some ways after a year plus of doing this, and I am happy that for what audience this series did find, it is one that sticks around to a video from start to finish. That is probably the most impressive statistic I can claim to have on my channel. I can hope the hiatus won't have to last as long as I expect it to last, or longer, but I'm afraid it is what it is. I will try to make some content around the series, for as free as it could possibly be made. I do have an idea for potential content around the series, not to be confused with filler episodes. I'm not doing those. And of course there's potential compilation videos of specific characters like I did for Flickshot and Taunt, but I cannot promise I can do more than that. And if I see that certain ideas just don't work, I won't do those to upload for the sake of uploading. Again, thank you for sticking around with the series so far and for sticking around with this video up until this point. Hopefully we will see each other again when the Omen of Rust concludes. That's all from me. Goodbye for now.